Big bass music.
Let's get it. I'm way too up to go down with you minions. They already know I got a check on me. Not everybody wanna check on me. Shout out to God, he blessing me. I'm doing my thing respectfully.
Like hey, yeah. What they gon' say? Like hey, yeah. I'm having my way. Like hey, yeah. What they gon' say? Like hey, yeah. I'm having my way.
Big bass music.
Hey, this is the EOM Project, episode 4, where the Tri-C Trio participants explored country and R&B in the classroom, continued touring Memphis and Nashville, then made 3 more hip-hop songs. Our special musical guests included Grammy Award-winning Michael Calhoun, who inspired the EOM track Brighten Up Your Future. But first, longtime musician and educator Paul Kovac introduced the team to country music, followed up by inspiring and performing on banjo sway.
Good morning, one and all. My name is Paul Kovac, and I brought with me, I'm a Northeast Ohio resident, and I was born and raised here, but I've traveled all over the world playing American country music and bluegrass music, and what I would call traditional American folk music in a way. Maybe that's a big generalization. And I have a few instruments with me today that kind of go back to the early days of how we got to where, we have current music the way we listen to it. But the history of it goes back hundreds of years. And in particular, my favorite instrument that I've been playing for a good long while, most I learned as a teenager, is the banjo. And the banjo is originally an African instrument, and it merged with the European violin and the fiddle. The two of them were like, red beans and rice, like peanut butter and jelly. However, in this segment, I'm going to play this particular banjo. It's a more modernized version of the old gourd banjo. This one has a back on the back. And it's kind of it was made in the 1920s to be a rhythm instrument during when brass jazz bands, most jazz bands in New Orleans and all in the South were brass instruments. And so they needed a banjo. They needed something that would be, something kind of loud that would cut through with all that brass sound, the acoustic volume.
Country music, or mountain music, it got that name because it originates from the Appalachian Mountains, is a music that dates back all the way to 1621. It is a combination between European and African culture, or mixed together like the English language. It is more of a collection of folk songs and folk tales mixed together to make songs, most of which coming from slaves working at the fields. Now, country music nowadays is mostly seen as a white genre, more suited for white people, but it actually is dated back to African American culture. And while there has been several black artists who tried to get in it and make music for it, none of them were really accepted, actively being cast out. Country music was mostly used with black instruments because when the Europeans brought over slaves, they took away their instruments because it was a form of communication and culture. Cleveland Francis, who was a musician, though he is most notable for the fact that he created the BCMA, or Black Country Music Association. Another noteworthy person being Charlie Pride, who won awards from the Country Music Association, including Best Entertainer Award in 1971 and Best Male Vocalist Award in 1971 and 2. At the peak of his career, to the early to mid 1970s, he even became the best-selling performer for RCA Records since Elvis Presley. Yeah, him. Oh, by the way, banjos came from Africa. It's really just a drum with strings on it.
I'm going to attempt, without a net, to play along to your sampled hip-hop stream there. And,
You got this, Paul?
oh, yeah. And so that's what we're gonna make it up as we go.
You done hip-hop before, Paul?
I've not a lot of it, but I've got a little bit. I've played to some.
Well, we breaking you back in.
Yeah, this is great, man. You might make a star out of me. I don't know.
There it is.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
We're gonna get you some sunglasses.
Yeah.
You gotta get you some J's or something.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll let one of them suit you up. Okay.
Yeah.
You can get you some red shoes like him.
I used to wear red shoes all the time.
Okay, so let's go.
I thought this was a great way to pay homage to a lot of those country artists and mentors to some of the most known country artists that we still hear of today. A lot of African American artists mentored them, and we wanted to give them their flowers. So I think that the banjo sway was a real cool way to actually just, give some modern day flowers to some of our,
And don't forget Bill Monroe. He was the father of bluegrass. Y'all probably like, who's that? He was taught by Arnold Schultz too. That's just a cool fact. It's fact. Like you can Google it, fact check it.
Yeah.
Bill Monroe is the father of bluegrass, and he was taught by Arnold Schultz.
Yeah.
And you're probably like, who's that?
Yes, but I think y'all made it that much more dope because of the dance that y'all put together with it. Y'all just put it all the way on the map. So, y'all did that.
And I think at this point we should just go to the video. Now cut to the video.
Yeah, cut to the video. Let's see what that.
Yo, see the banjo sway. I went the other way.
Break it down now. In the middle with it. Lean back with it. Do your dance.
We don't mean no disrespect, but banjos came from Africa.
Turn around with it. Left over right, right over left. Rock, 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 rock. Left over right, right over left.
We
Turn
don't mean no
around.
disrespect, but banjos came
Break
from
it down
Africa.
now.
Excuse me, ladies, I see you dancing. You do my heart good, baby, Cleve Francis. Moments like this could never fade away. When I'm riding through the country on that quarry, I'm banjo swaying cause I'm super chill. F-150 with the wagon wheels. I call my truck Darius Rucker like Nicky Guyon at the Super Bowl. I'm live in the colors. Ayy, if I was in the 2000s, baby, I would've went to the Opry to see D for a
Turn
baby.
around with
Ayy,
it.
just between me and you, I think somebody lied. He was the man, what you know about Charlie
Rock.
Pride?
Rock, rock, rock. Left over right, right over left. Turn
We don't mean no
around.
disrespect, but banjos came
Break it
from
down now.
Africa.
In the middle with it. Lean back with it. Do your dance.
We don't mean no disrespect, but banjos came from Africa.
Turn around with it. Left over right, right over left. Rock, 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 rock. Left over right, right over left.
We
Turn
don't mean no
around.
disrespect, but banjos came
Break
from
it down
Africa.
now.
something like Cowboy Troy. Even Hate Williams to tell you T-Top made noise. James A. Bland, why you playing? He the man. On this old time road over and over again. AP Carter would say Riddle was the GOAT, but a young Johnny Cash would have Cannon as his vote. Don't forget Bill Monroe, the father of bluegrass. He was taught by Arnold Schultz, y'all probably like, who's that? He inspired the great, that's just a huge fact. With my cowboy hat and my boots to match. Hit the banjo sway from the front to the back. Hit the banjo sway from the front to the back.
Rock, 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 rock. Left over right, right over left. Turn
We don't mean no
around.
disrespect, but banjos came from Africa.
Now. In the middle with it. Lean back with it. Do your dance.
We don't mean no disrespect, but banjos came from Africa.
Turn around with it. Left over right, right over left. Rock, 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 rock. Left over right, right over left.
We
Turn
don't mean no
around.
disrespect, but banjos came
Break it
from
down
Africa.
now. In the middle with it. Lean back with it. Do your dance.
We don't mean no disrespect, but banjos came from Africa.
Turn around with it. Left over right, right over left. Rock, 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 rock. Left over right, right over left.
We
Turn
don't mean no
around.
disrespect, but banjos came from Africa.
So, Paul, how was your experience collaborating with YRC Music, making the Banjo Sway video?
Well, the video was great, but I'd take a step backwards even and say that when I came in to do like the lecture demo a few weeks ago, I really didn't know what I was walking into, and I prepared like the history of American music, with black and white people meeting together with the fiddle and the banjo, and when I first heard the track this morning before I came down here to shoot the video, I was just amazed at how much of the content of the lyrics came from my lecture, and then to hear it woven together with such great rapping and great writing and rapping, and then the enthusiasm of everybody getting into it on the video. It was just super fun and very meaningful for me. But yeah, Phatty Banks, baby.
R&B, or rhythm and blues, or soul, whatever you call it, dates back to around 1940s or so, where it went by the term race music, because it was music for one race. You can probably see why we changed it, though it was mostly a marketing scheme. So, R&B was mostly made of the two pillars of Black society, which even now is the two pillars of our culture: gospel and blues, or gospel music. So, rhythm and blues mostly took place in these things called chitlin circuits, which were basically like venues for Black artists and musicians so they can do their art. Now, chitlin is a term for a food that is pig intestines. Moving on, there are multiple artists that were influential for R&B, but two we're going to talk about. One being Ray Charles. Ray Charles was a musician, a singer, and a pianist. He did amazing work and is widely known during the time. He was also blind. Even with a disability and without one of his senses, he still was one of the best. Fats Domino was another musician and pianist, but he was really big. He was actually the one that really made R&B big and mainstream and everyone listening to it. He, during the 1950s to 60s, actually sold 65 million copies of his music. A lot. R&B was impactful and very influential for Black culture and society, and being one of the very first music genres that we were actually big and popular with. It brought us together and made a new type of sound. It was also very big for the civil rights movement.
What's up, YRC? The Youth Renaissance Collaboration. This experience with y'all was amazing. I learned so much right with y'all. I want you to remember hope is a powerful word. It's a powerful feeling. It will wake you up in the morning on time, finally. The workshop had a deep dive into how hip-hop sampled R&B records with a message like Billie Holiday's Strange Fruit and made inappropriate hip-hop songs and TikToks, along with Lil Wayne using the tragic demise of Emmett Till and the ill-advised lyric that many people felt was disrespectful to the blacks who lost their lives during the Jim Crow era. We as a staff made it a point to visit the National Civil Rights Museum at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, where Dr. Martin Luther King lost his life to help bring perspective and continue our conversation that sparked the EOM Project song Brighten Up Your Future, where we sampled Mike Calhoun singing and playing his guitar. So I'm gonna do a quick introduction, y'all, in my introduction voice. Y'all ready?
Stop and let it whip, please.
Please?
Yes, please.
Okay. Michael J. Calhoun has accomplished greatness in music for over 30 years. He was influenced by B.B. King, Jimi Hendrix, Jeff Beck, the Beatles, and Motown. Michael's career launched as a founding member, singer and composer, and guitarist for the 1978 R&B hit-making band Kinsman Dazz under 20th Century Fox's record label, where Michael was mentored by both Marvin Gaye and Philip Bailey of Earth, Wind & Fire. Kinsman Dazz put out 2 charting R&B hits, I Might As Well Forget About Loving You and Catching Up on Love. The group eventually moved to Motown Records and became the Grammy Award-winning Dazz band for their hit single titled Let It Whip.
All right, that's enough.
That's enough?
Yeah, that's it.
Give them a round of applause, everyone. That is a real Grammy, y'all. Okay?
Has anybody ever sampled your song, Let It Whip?
There's about 5 or 6 different Let It Whips. Just Google it.
So how do you go about clearing those samples? Like, do all you guys have to okay it?
They have a clearance house. Fatty know more about that than me. That's right. Happens all the time.
Put Google, and it's been sampling 35 different songs.
Let It Whip.
35?
35. See?
The newest one is an Interly Chopper song.
See, you can't just make this stuff up. Today, you just be able to say stuff and they can't look at you. Look it up.
Oh, he gonna just get a check.
They pay.
He don't even look. He don't even know who is it. What's his name?
I don't know who they are. I don't even care.
Interly Chopper.
You guys know.
Cha-ching. That's who he is. Cha-ching.
How did you get into R&B and soul?
Through my family. My uncle in particular was a gospel organist for Antioch Baptist Church, and it was around the household. And playing piano, we had a piano, and my grandmother and my mother would sing gospel music, Mahalia Jackson. That's how I got into it.
Okay. In your opinion, what individuals were trailblazers making R&B and soul? What is it today?
Sam Cooke, A Change Is Gonna Come. You've heard that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And James Brown, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. You've heard that, right?
Yep.
All right.
What was R&B Soul's influences on American culture and the civil rights movement?
Well, those two things I just mentioned, about James Brown taking a word that was really a bad word to call a person black back in the day in the 50s and early 60s. If you called each other black, we'd be fighting. Mm-hmm. But he made it good by saying I'm black and I'm proud to say we're black, because we were called Negroes and colored people. We weren't black at all.
Right.
Unless you had the N-word after black. They'd call you that. But that was it.
But do y'all think that's deep? That's deep. Think about it. There was a time when we didn't call ourselves black.
Nope.
Call yourself colored.
Yep.
Colored people.
Colored people.
Which one you like better?
I like black.
That's a finger picking thing.
Always finding something.
See? Y'all can sing. Come on. See? When you put the T-Pain on.
I'll make it up to you.
Learn to sing a little bit.
Things I did before, I won't do no more. I'm catching up on love, catching up on love, catching up on love.
There you go.
So the Evolution of Music Project has been an amazing journey. How would you describe your experience with the Evolution of Music Project?
My experience is actually pretty cool. I learned a lot, and I learned how to really involve myself as an artist. I kind of I don't know how to really explain it. I just know that I've learned a lot about myself as a person and also with the music.
Yes, that's amazing. I want to broadcast this because it's so very important, because you had a very different type of role in the making of these different songs. For R&B Soul, you all created a song called Brighten Up Your Future. What was your role in that song?
To be honest, my role was pretty much finishing the song, because I remember it was that day in class, RJ was like, we just need this song to be done. And I remember RJ just pulled me aside. He was like, what did you have written? What do you got? And I showed it to him. He was like, okay, it's more written as a poem, but we're going to have it write into lyrics. And he wrote into lyrics that same day. I recorded it.
Okay. So you added the spoken word to that song at the end of it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's more like a poem. Mm-hmm. That is amazing. And when you listen to this song, Brighten Up Your Future, and you actually hear the way that you express that poem, it was so very powerful, and it pulled out all of those feelings of what it means to actually brighten up your future. So I thought that was amazing. How would you describe R&B Soul Week in particular in your own words?
To describe the R&B Soul Week, it was actually pretty fun. We learned about different artists. We even told artist Mr. Banks that we knew, that he was like, oh yeah, I remember that person is too. And he also enlightened us with different types of R&B music.
Okay, all right.
I wish we had more time to share all the engaging conversations and production that went on during our Country and R&B workshop, but we gotta keep this project moving right into our next episode 5, exploring rock and roll and hip hop. We visited Elvis Presley's Graceland in Memphis, stopped in Louisville to see the Ali Center, and right back to Cleveland, home of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I'm on my grind, I ain't got no time, I'm not finna play. I'm tryna make moves, do what I do, so I tell a hater, nah, nah, nah. I'm on my grind, I ain't got no time, I'm not finna play. Don't care what you say, yeah.
I tell them haters bye, bye, bye. I'm not one of them guys. Look my mama in the eyes, never wanna see her cry. Shout out to my brother RP in the sky. Grinding every day, trying to figure out my why. And I'm way too young to be stressing. Thank God every day I wake up, it's a blessing. Like a hotel, I'm just trying to get my check in. Eating every day like a continental breakfast.
Yeah, acting like you know us, you ain't even on my team. Think you one of us, you ain't even in the league. You don't even know what I'm wearing on my feet. My whole outfit harder than concrete. Yeah, I dress nice, Rick Owens wax jeans. Makes to me hard, these are shoes you never seen. Yeah, I'm on my grind, yeah, I'm on the mission. They praying on my downfall, don't be giving no tuition. Nah, nah, nah. I'm on my grind, I ain't got no time. I'm not finna play, tryna make moves, do what I do, so I tell a hater, nah, nah, nah. I'm on my grind, I ain't got no time. I'm not finna play, don't care what you say, yeah.